My name's Mez. We are live. This is
Nick.
And you are watching Toasted.
Gentlemen, welcome to Amsterdam again.
Oh, thank you. We are really looking forward to being back. It's been a long journey here after a festival yesterday, but yeah, we love this city.
So for people wondering, I mean, we were actually looking for two ferns. We couldn't find a fern, so we have two band members and one plant. This is a new series.
It's good, I think. It tickles the chin. Though, right? Tickles the chin, but that's what I'm into. So.
You played Brighton yesterday festival. It was ace, you said.
Yeah, it was ace. It was like at capacity venue. We're a very energetic band, so it was great to see 300 odd people just cutting loose. Really, I hate gigs where everyone's sort of just watching or looking at what kind of jeans you've got on. You know, they've got to be looking at like the full effect, and like that's what we try and offer. So,
well, what do you do when it happens? I mean, I can imagine if you start off as a band, and even if you are a high energy band, and there's like 20 people there, well, 15 are looking at the toilet door, and 5 are like half interested. You still gotta pull it off. Are you still doing the whole thing, or are you stepping bored off stage halfway?
No, you've got to always. We treat each show like it's our last, and I think. We will always do that because music for us is very empowering and sort of exciting, and like it's escapism as well. So if the crowd do look a bit like they're not into it, I'll probably end up taking the mic and putting it in the crowd and doing my bit in the crowd.
Escapism, you mentioned it. Is escapism is an important theme on this album, actually?
Yeah, escapism is very important and a great theme on the album. Popular music, the title itself lends to escapism, and we're not just talking about a certain type of music. We're talking about when you've finished your hard day at work or something, whatever your sense of escapism is, whether it be going to a club and listening to Beyonce, or going to a techno rave, or going and watching a live show and seeing a crazy band like us or whatever. I think music is very sort of almost religious and cult-like, and that's what we tried to do with this album, is sort of give that sort of sense of escapism, because music is about empowerment. Music is about sort of making you feel different, and that's what we try to do with this.
Escape from a shitty job, probably. Escape from problems. Wouldn't it be better to just pick up a guitar and play instead of having a shitty job?
Well, yeah, ideally. But then I think it's fueled this album. I don't think this album would sound like it does if we didn't also work our jobs. I mean, some of us enjoy our jobs. You don't mind your job?
No, I'm not talking even about that. I mean, what I mean is, if you need escapism to live with your fucking job, then why don't you quit the job and start a great band like you guys have?
Yeah, well, that's what everybody should do. But we still work our shitty jobs. So, yeah. So I work in a call centre as my day job, full-time. So, you know, we still do, and then we somehow force stuff like this in. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that would be better. Enjoyment is the main thing.
If you keep on releasing albums like this,
There we go.
you won't probably work your job anymore real soon, because this one, nah, come on.
No, well, yeah, hopefully. That's the way we feel. It feels like this should change things.
It definitely will. I think this is a really strong album, at least for really, really good tracks. No fillers, all killer, actually.
Oh yeah, well, it's been a long process, really. Like our recording processes have always been go into a studio for one day, do a single, whereas we got this opportunity to sort of like really get our body of work together and have 2 weeks in a studio, and you know, that sort of like bled into the album. It felt like a body of work that was really exciting, and it made us change as artists, I guess, as well, didn't it? So like, yeah, we're just so happy to get it out. It's been a long time coming for us.
Hey, I think In Your Hands is one of the strongest songs on the album. I think it has a lot of hit potential, and I think it's a great opener for an album. Could you tell me a little about the track?
Yeah, so like you've said, it's that feeling of things being in your hands and people forget that.
Is it an old track, actually? Is it the one you have for, is it 5 years old, or is it a week old? Or?
It's actually one of the newer ones, probably, so it's a couple of months old maybe now. It was one of the newest ones before we went to record the album in October of last year. So it's quite current in its feeling, and it's got like the lyrically, it's about consumerist and general. It's sort of, it doesn't go too deep into anything, so it's not overtly a political song. It's a commentary on generally what's going on.
The way I would sum it up is, it's about, if you go into a supermarket and you're looking at a tin of beans or the equivalent of baked beans or whatever, how do you get those baked beans cheaper? Which brand do you go for? How do you get them cheaper? I think In Your Hands is about consumerism, about how everyone is so anxious and so scared for the future and scared of, like, looking after their family. That is what In Your Hands is about, and it's about changing that perception and you know, really sort of like having a statement and going out there and changing the world. But like,
I guess if you play it live, it's a very easy song for a big crowd to get into and clap along and sing along to. Does it happen?
Yes, it does happen. Yeah, yeah. It's like we often write choruses where they've got those kind of slogan elements. So In Your Hands, popular music, you know, things that people can actually latch onto, because at the end of the day, that's a great way of writing a pop song. And although we're a punk band, we still listen to a lot of pop music and especially sort of use that as a template, I guess, to create music that can then influence.
Another track that I think was outstanding is Earthworm. The things I wrote down is it's like a Ruts track. Do you guys know the Ruts at all? Very old punk band on Virgin. And there you go. Because I like the strong bass in it, and I also like the end. It ends with a poem. Two things that people mentioned on your music is sleever mods. Do you know sleever mods?
Yeah.
And actually, of course, they're completely different. On the other hand, what you just mentioned, I think that's a fair comparison. In well, should at least say 40%, maybe.
Yeah, no, definitely. We're big fans of Sleaford mods, and it is a good comparison. And Earthworm, lyric-wise, definitely, we comment on everyday life, everyday happenings. We literally write songs about what is going on right now. So at the moment, obviously, politics is very dark and bleak, so it's going to shape what we write. But we also write about like pop culture, so there's even references to like Miley Cyrus and Game of Thrones and stuff like that on the album. You know, it's not just hitting Donald Trump over the head with a baseball bat, although that would be good. But you know, it's not just that; it's all sorts.
As an outsider from Europe, I look perplexed at the whole Brexit thing. And what even perplexes me more is that May, who is now the Prime Minister of England, first was very much pro-Europe, and now, since she's become the President or the Prime Minister, is happy to help the UK out of the EU, and suddenly she's not. And still everybody votes for the Tories, who basically caused the whole shit. It's unbelievable. How can you vote yourself into the grave?
Because it's the media, really, who are creating such amount of fear around not just the opposition, but around everything.
But also the nationalism is scary, I think.
It's unbelievable. And where we're from as well, Hull, I actually was like doing outreach work the day that we disastrously left Europe, or the vote was registered to leave Europe. And when I was going into the estates, it was like there was banners all around, sort of like as you go into sort of like the housing estates, with like vote UKIP, vote Conservative, you know, almost like and the rhetoric was like almost, well, not almost, it was racist, and it perplexes me and disheartens me, and you know, sometimes we're so ashamed of the way British politics is going at the moment. But I think that's in general across the whole world as well, and it's a dark place at the moment, and hopefully...
of course it sucks, but on the other hand, we in Europe, and I don't want to build a wall here at all, we look at the States and we go like, okay, that's your mess, fuck, what the fuck, and then we look at the UK, we're like, what did you do? And then of course we had the elections here as well, and fortunately a lot of people didn't vote that way, and then the same happened in France, and the same happened in Italy, and the same happened in Austria, and the same happened everywhere. So there are luckily, I think the majority of people in the West are very much against this shit.
Yeah.
Does it like how should I put this? Isolate the UK?
I think it will do. I think we're yet to see the full extent of how much it's going to change things. Like we were discussing just on the way over, how easy it's been to come across. We've come through 3 countries to get here from England today, and then that's going to get way harder. And yeah, it's going to be disastrous, I think. I mean, it's depressing. But you've had like some fortunate escapes, I'd say, in Europe. Like the whole French thing, Le Pen, that was close. Or in the media, it felt like, shit, things could go that way.
Beyonce lost by a 70% margin.
Yeah, which was great. It's good to see that it can be beaten, because sometimes when you, especially one thing on top of another, the past few years has been like, fuck, everyone's suddenly just scared, racist, and nationalism is fucking rife. And yeah, it's worrying.
It is depressing. On the other hand, what I said to my friends, this is going to be great for art.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was great for art because we've got your fantastic record. So another thing, and this is also on the sleeve, the Life logo. Who did it? I love it.
The Life logo, Mick, you drew the Life logo, didn't you?
Yeah. That was like came just after we came up with the name. I did a couple of things. We sort of stumbled on that. I fall in and out of love with it all the time, actually, to be fair, but that's because I've been looking at it for about 4 or 5 years.
I think it's a really good logo, and I think it works really well on merchandise. Is there any merchandise that people can buy yet?
Yeah, well, there's the albums and things all through our website at lifeband.co.uk. There's a couple of T-shirt bundles. We've got yellow and black vinyl, different coloured ones.
No shit.
Yeah, there's a yellow vinyl.
There's a yellow limited vinyl.
Is it still available, actually?
Well, it's still available. Well, they're not. You can't get them yet. It's not out.
It's on pre-order.
Pre-order next Friday,
How many copies
26th. We did 500 yellows. So.
Hey, listen up. Another track, of course, which is great, is Babar Bower. Outstanding track. Could you tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, this one's more like a surreal one, really. I wrote quite a lot of surreal lyrics about it. Basically, it started with, we were on tour, and I can remember, I think we were playing in Leicester in the UK, and I just, literally, we had a few drinks, and I just said, pint of clay. And then I wrote, and then I can remember coming back, and I just wrote a song that would include that line. But I guess the whole theme of the song is about sort of like losing it a bit, losing your mind, and turning to the bottle or turning, I don't know, it just feels, it's quite a sad song, I think, lyrically, when you just read the lyrics, but yeah. And then Babar Bower is just your head just going, getting in really close in on you. So it's kind of an anxious song. But yeah, but very surreal at the same time.
Reading the lyrics, for me, it's very much like a description of, like you said, everyday life. It is like a satire. It is like it is. It is sad, but it's also very funny. And I think it's also very punk to do that.
Yeah. We wanted to create a tongue-in-cheek, modern, lyrical album.
And you succeeded.
So, and, you know, that if we've succeeded, then that's just made us, you know, that's what we've set out to do.
I think you should, and I think everybody should get a copy of the album. I think it's one of the most interesting records I've had in a while, especially from the UK. Has nothing to do with the UK, because I love the music from the UK, but this is an outstanding thing, I think. You guys will be playing here in Amsterdam tonight. You do play a lot of festivals in the UK. I saw there's this big surf festival where you're at, and even Jamaica is playing there. You playing in Hull at a street festival as well. But do you guys play any festivals in Europe this summer?
Maybe not in the summer, but we are at Reeperbahn in September in Hamburg. And I think, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but I'll say it anyway, I think we've just been confirmed for London Calling in Amsterdam. So yeah. So yeah,
people will get a chance to see you guys play after this.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we play Paris in June, actually. We play at Supersonic in June. So yeah, we're coming back out, and there's hopeful plans of a full European run as well in October. So yeah, we love it over here because, you know, it just feels so much better.
We love having you guys. Hey, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.